Anas, what do you see as the biggest challenge coaching players for you?
Well, there was something that no one told me before, and I learned it the hard way, which is keeping the bench happy. So keeping the non-starters happy. This is really a challenge that even Jose Mourinho spoke about this. It was like everything has a solution, but keeping someone away from the ball happy is is really difficult. And for me, I had this experience where I came to this team as a new coach, and from the previous season, 8 out of the 11 players who were usually starting the games were sitting on the bench, not because I had a personal issue with them or because they were not technically good, but simply because they didn't fit into my system, you know. And out of these seven, eight, they were like four who were like friends, close friends. Because, yeah, to be honest, in every team, there are like groups of friends. And even though coaches try to like play everyone with each other, so they don't create these groups, but they still exist, you know. So this group thought that I had a personal issue with them, you know, and I'm not playing because there's something wrong, but because I have no, like something wrong is in me. So training after training, one of these players started the games because he was training hard, he proved himself. So when they saw their friend playing, they switched their thinking from does he have a personal issue with us to what do I need so I can play like my friend, you know?
Mm,
So then they started coming and asking questions about what do they need to do so they can play. So this guy, which is their friend, opened the door for them mentally, you know, and showed them a way to play. It's like he switched the light on for them, you know.
mm,
So for me, I learned it with time. It's really important to first recognize these groups of friends inside your team and then play minimum one player from each group.
mm,
So now you're not deciding your lineup just based on tactics or fitness or technique, but also this emotional part is really important in your decision making as a coach, because otherwise you're gonna have a group of friends that is not satisfied, which means you have like 4 or 5 players or maybe even more or like toxic in your dressing room. Uh, they are unmotivated in the training session, and we all know that training the starters needs the bench. So the less performing is the bench in the training session, the less performing the starters become, you
mm,
know. So, the level drops even though you try whatever you try. If the bench level drops, the starters level drops as well. And maybe they perform well in the training session. I mean, the starters, because the others are not trying enough. They are not pressing enough, maybe. They're not very intense. So it gives them a fake confidence about their level, you know. And when
mm,
they go to the game, you know what happens. So this is really important, keeping the bench satisfied making them believe that if they are not starting from minute zero, it doesn't mean that they don't have an influence on the game. So I think this is really a topic that as coaches and psychologists need to work on and find solutions, let's say, for it.
Mm. That's a very like unique and interesting perspective because like if you think about most coaches think about the starters and don't like the bench, and you're pointing out that like the environment is so important to perform on the highest level. What would you say, like based on your importance for qualities in players, which kind of qualities you look into players that they can start in your team?
Okay, I think I had these debates with my classmates, coaches in classroom. So in Spain, they say that technique is the first thing you need to have, okay? And mastering the ball, control, passing, whatever. Okay. So I made this small research and I asked the question to myself, if I bring, let's say, the best player, let's say Neymar, okay, or Messi, I bring Messi in his prime to the my local team here who plays in the fifth division in Morocco, okay? What would be his influence on the team? Is he going to make us play first division? Okay. So then I asked myself, how many minutes can he play or can he have the ball in his feet during the 90 minutes? Because Messi doesn't run after the ball. So he just performs the minutes he has the ball on his feet.
Mm,
Okay. So I found out that a player has the ball during the 90 minutes between 3 and 6 minutes maximum.
mm,
Okay. So Messi is going to give me maximum 6 minutes out of 90. So during 84 minutes, I'm playing with one less player. Okay. And for me, if you're not Messi, I focus on what we are going to do on the 84 minutes more than the 3 or 4 or even 6 minutes that you have the ball in your feet. Okay.
mm,
So I have like players sending me videos on them training, scoring goals, free kicks, whatever, but they just send videos of them having the ball on their feet. So they are showing me just 5 minutes out of 90, but I don't know what to expect on the 85 minutes. Okay?
mm,
So for me, it's really important for me to trust the player to do the work that players hate because they like the ball. Okay? I need to trust him that he's going to do the work that everyone hates. Sometimes you see a lineup of a big team and you see, usually in midfield, a player who is less talented, but he's always there.
mm.
And a better technical player is on the bench. Let's say Henderson in Liverpool and Gattuso in Milan. And I don't know if you remember Khedira, the German player in
Yeah, yeah,
Real.
for sure.
Modric was sitting on the bench, but Khedira was playing. And you think like Khedira's technical level is doesn't, it's not for Real Madrid. But then look at his work, the work he does when he doesn't have the ball, how much he runs, you know. So, yes, you need to be technically good, but then you need to give me the 84, 85 minutes as well.
Mm. When you right now say like the work nobody like likes
Yeah.
or everybody hates, which specific work you're meaning by that? Like I understood the running pace, like how much the player's running. What else do you mean with the work of 85 minute?
Okay, if we try to simplify it as much as we can, it's running. It's when you have the ball as a team, you run into spaces and you make runs. So you're not just standing and waiting for the ball to come to your feet. And when your team doesn't have the ball, you run to support your players
Mm,
and be where you're supposed to be. So it's simply running, being aggressive. Um, they say that remember Chiellini and Bonucci,
mm,
Juve defenders. They say that they put their head where players can't put their feet in. You know, so this is how I want my players to be
mm,
because statistically, a team of defenders against a team of attacking players, the defenders will always win.
mm,
Okay? Even though, yeah, the trend now is tiki-taka and playing passes and playing nice, and you're not gonna win. And you can see Arteta with Arsenal. I don't want to mention names, but it's it's because a ball, if you see its shape, it's unpredictable. And coaches now try to be organized and try to predict what would happen in each situation. Unfortunately, we cannot do that.
mm,
Okay. So, answering your question, I need my players because I can't predict what would happen the whole 90 minutes. I need them to know how to deal with the chaos that would happen during the game.
mm.
Those moments that they were not prepared for.
Yeah.
It
Yeah, that
takes.
that means
Mhm, mhm.
no, sorry.
So, this emotional intelligence, because maybe you have the best technical players in the whole world, like the 11, you have a corner, a long ball, everyone panics, and you receive a goal in
Mm,
5 seconds. This is something that you can train. Yeah, there is a set pieces coach that he trains, but I told you the shape of the ball. It's unpredictable. So you need players who can react positively and correctly to those chaotic moments.
mm. As you mentioned right now, like having the focus in the chaos. And the question is going in my head is like, how could you train it like in the training ground to create the same chaos, right? That the player developed these kind of focus and these kind of discipline to being there. How would you train this? Let's say you have a team and they are very poor and you have to stick with the team now. And how was your approach?
Well, to be honest with you, if I have the right answer to this, I'm gonna become a millionaire. Because truly, this is the hardest question and the hardest challenge now in football. Because imagine in academies, they say that uh, players under 13 years old, okay, the ones who play in the streets are more talented than the ones who train in academies. Whatever academy I'm talking about, the Barca Academy, the best out of the best, the kids who play in the streets are better, easy word, are better, more talented than the ones who come from academy.
Mm,
And they are better because there is more chaos to deal with in the streets. You are playing, there is a car coming, there is the neighbor who wants to sleep and you know, there is someone who like falls down and there is no coach who will come and, grab him, and there is no referee, there is no fixed position. You just play for fun. You train and you become better this way because you deal with more chaos.
mm,
And academies, they're trying to include in their weekly training, their microcycle, once or twice a week, street football.
mm,
But you cannot simulate the streets on on the field, on the pitch. You know, even though they try like to make the coach even sometimes go and just let the kids play.
mm,
But you need the car coming in. You need the neighbor. So answering your question, it's just, I don't know, trying to minimize organized situations in football.
mm,
Not, don't get me wrong, not like eliminating them. I'm not saying this. I'm just saying, yes, we have organized moments and we train them through patterns, fixed patterns, whatever, but we also have chaotic moments through long balls, through whatever, and we just try to simulate this. And how coaches do this, I mean, they play a game, they receive one or two, or maybe I don't know how many goals through chaotic moments. So through video analysis, they try to replicate those moments in the training because
mm,
you cannot work on every situation. That's why I told you the profile that I would like to have is someone that, even though we didn't train that chaotic moment, because he played with the neighbor asleep and with the car coming and with those situations, he can adapt.
mm. Yeah, like it reminds me of I saw like Arteta doing this in Arsenal with like he brought like a big box and played the noise is so high, and I
Yeah.
was like, okay, that's like maybe simulating a bit the stadium view, the pressure, and let it play like in this environment. What would you say was when you grow up, which kind of coaches you admire and which kind of lessons you learn from different coaches?
Okay. So for me, since I was a kid, I never wanted to become a football player. I always wanted to become a coach. And my first inspiration was Jose Mourinho. Okay. He's till now, for me, he is the best. Okay. And one of the things that I understood from him was this chaos that we were talking about, is trying to put his players during training sessions in these conditions and not just focusing on these fixed patterns that it's really difficult to have the same situations during the game.
Mm,
Even when you see like teams who play these fixed patterns, they usually play them on their half during build up, when there is no pressing high, when there's no intensity, when the opponent is sitting back, you know. But then when you arrive to the real work, then you play fast, then there is a little bit of chaos, you know.
mm,
So for me, the best inspiration is Jose Mourinho as a coach and also as a person. He was a coach that when he sacked, players cry, okay?
mm,
And he is a coach that with Ancelotti, they had the most, they felt comfortable working in the most difficult situation, which is coaching superstars who have strong ego.
mm,
Okay, like Cristiano Ronaldo, like Zlatan Ibrahimovic, like Samuel Eto'o, like that some other coaches who are great, they cannot.
mm,
When Rafael Benitez came to Real Madrid, he was trying to teach Cristiano Ronaldo how to kick a free kick. You know what I mean? How to
yeah,
improve his free kicks. For a young player, a player who wants to improve, a player who wants to show himself, yes, this is the right way to deal with him. But with Cristiano Ronaldo, if you tell him this, he will never listen to you again. You know what I mean?
mm,
So, a coach like Guardiola, for example, he is one of the greatest ever. Okay? He's a coach who it's really difficult for him to coach players with ego. And whenever he had a player like this in his squad, he had confrontations like Zlatan, like Eto'o, like he looks for great players who are students,
mm,
who listen, you know. But when you have superstars with big egos, big personalities, Mourinho and Klopp and Ancelotti are the right ones to do that. So I try to learn this man management thing from these guys and also some positive things from Klopp, from Guardiola, from I don't know, De Zerbi, who is a trend
mm,
now. So Luis Enrique. So I try to learn the positive things from everyone, but at the same time, the things that can adapt to my thing, and
mm,
not just copy paste and become chaotic. Talking about chaos, you know.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense, and I like the approach what you said at the last that suits you, and
yeah.
what I see often is like player or also coaches they try to copy different styles and bring it together, and then it's like just chaos, but it's not authentic because I think a coach has to be inside authentic, that the message is going through the players based on this analogy, like what would you say to young players like in this kind of environment you had experience now also in Real Madrid? How do you see like which kind of players stand out and where players has to be focused more on their career to get to pro level?
Okay. So I see some players, let's say 12 years old, 14 years old. They are the best by far from their mates. Okay. So when they get this idea that they are the best, they stop working. Okay. Because they don't see a competition. Okay. And when they reach 16, 17, 18, they are outplayed from the ones who were less than them. Usually. Why? Because the one who were less kept training and trying and they were improving. But then the one who got this idea that he was the best, and he was the best, he stopped improving, or he was improving, but in a very slow pace.
Mm,
So the most important thing for me in this case is to stay humble and to run. You know, to run with the ball, without the ball, your team has the ball, he doesn't have the ball, you need to run. And to run, you need to be humble.
mm,
If you go and see Cristiano Ronaldo in Saudi Arabia, how many runs he makes where the ball, they don't even pass the ball to him, but he still makes these runs. He's still humble enough to do it. And this is Cristiano Ronaldo. Okay.
mm.
Um, the question, sorry, I lost the question. The-
The question was like, which kind of advice you would give young players to achieve the pro level from your perspective? And
yeah. So this transition from academy to pro is is really difficult because in pro football becomes less fun again because they run more. It's a loop, you know. The intensity gets higher. You don't get the ball as much. You play sometimes with people who are twice bigger as you, and you have so many instructions to do or to follow without the ball.
mm,
Okay, so you chose to become a football player because you like the ball. Otherwise, you're gonna run on the track or whatever. But then when you realize that out of the 90 minutes, you're gonna have the ball for 5 minutes, and even during those 5 minutes, you're not free to do whatever you want to enjoy yourself with the ball. Then there is not a nice feeling you get. So it's either you try to make yourself enjoy the
mm,
game even though you don't have the ball, or you quit. Or a third option, which is you do whatever you want during the game and you enjoy yourself, and they kick you out.
mm,
So realizing this is really important. And I had these conversations with the people from Real Madrid Academy, from also other academies, Porto, Benfica, Dortmund, Ajax, and they were like, the players who are the best when they are 12, 14 years old, I asked them, where are they playing now? 70 or 80% of them are working other jobs.
mm,
The ones who made it professionally and even the superstars were like the fifth best option, the fourth best option, the 10th best option. You know, they were never the first or the best. And maybe that's why they kept training and trying to improve.
mm,
So, in summary, being humble enough to try to train hard to run. And then when you go, you try to enjoy even though you don't have the ball.
mm. like like your perspective and your approach reminds me a lot about like mental resilience, having this patience and also the mental strength to pushing when you, for example, starting from the bench right? And what would you say, how important is mental resilience or mental strength as a football player?
It's everything because the mind is the thing that controls the body. So even though he's the best player, if he doesn't believe in it, or if he doesn't believe in his importance, even if he plays 2 minutes out of the 90 minutes, his body doesn't gonna function the way it has to function. It becomes lazy, less intense. It shows in his body language, and you know that.
Mm,
So it's really important in the profile of the players you scout that you try to identify this. It's difficult. It's not something that is explicit, obvious. It's something that you try to judge, and sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. And also, you can bring a player who is resilient, but if you make some mistake as a coach, he loses his resilience.
mm,
There are many factors that can influence this. You can kill the resilience in a player by avoiding him, let's say, maybe simply, or by some other acts that you can do as a coach.
mm. Like based on the mental resilience and the mental strength, which kind of difference you had coaching like before and coaching now, learning as an observing coach in Real Madrid? Where do you saw like the difference and the approach also?
Well, uh, to be honest, I think the first thing is a difference in the culture between, let's say, Moroccans, Africans, and Spanish Europeans. I think this is the most obvious difference. Here in Morocco, we have what we call the best technicians when it comes to technicality in football, but then the toughest heads you can deal with. So for me, in Morocco, what I was looking for was more than technique, was flexibility in the mind,
Mm,
was listening, because it's really difficult to find people who listen here. Otherwise, you know, so here it's really difficult. It's easy to find talent. It's easy to find a winger who dribbles a player or two, but then it's difficult to find a player who would listen to your instructions and follow them during the game.
mm,
Because during the game, the player shuts off, he takes the ball, he feels there is a light spotted on him, just on him. So he's not thinking about you as a coach. He's thinking about himself. People are
mm,
watching. His girlfriend is watching. His crush is watching. His parents. So he doesn't care about you, you know. So you need to find a player who, even if he follows his subconscious, he's matching you.
mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And talking about Spain, I feel that uh, Real Madrid is not something that you can find in all the academies or clubs of Spain. Real Madrid is unique in their approach. For example, if you go to Barca Academy, you see that the way the under seven team play is the same as the first team, the same approach, the same everything, all the levels. In Real Madrid, no. You see the under 15, they play with three at the back. Under 17, four at the back. One team plays possession, one team plays vertical. There is no unified identity or style between the teams.
Mm.
So the question here is it right or wrong to do this? I don't know, by the way, if I'm answering your
Yeah,
question or
that's
not.
it goes in the
If I'm not, just stop me. Uh, when you go to Barca Academy and you see the products they bring you, I mean the players, you see that all of them play one style. You know, the Pedri and the Gavi and Sergio Roberto and the Cuenca and those players, short, nice passes, you know, very good technique, very high technique. But because you have one product style, your customers or the clubs are one style. So
mm,
a Barca player can play good in the Netherlands, in Scandinavia, in Germany, in some clubs in Germany, where the intensity is not that high, when the aggressivity is not that high, where you play football and you enjoy, and you don't run that much,
mm,
you enjoy. In Real Madrid, because they play different styles, you as a player, you're under 12, you play in the under 12 or under 13 team, you play possession, okay? You go up to the under 15, and there is a different coach who plays vertical.
mm,
So you learn to play both ways. When you bring the products, you have different products for all the clubs and for all the styles.
mm,
So I think this is the difference in at least in Spain or in Europe between the clubs, the academies who play a unified style and the ones who change based on the coach and they just want to win.
mm. Like your experience at Real Madrid, which kind of lessons were for you the biggest lessons for your own coaching style? And
Uh,
maybe you could also specify the lessons for other coaches. They don't have this experience.
okay. I'm gonna try to say other things than the things that I said, which is being humble, running. Um, I think one of the things that I saw is there were some players that never played, let's say, or they played way less, but from the staff, they were given the same importance as the stars of the team, like individual video analysis, tips, uh, uh, caring, body caring, everything was the same. So the player feels that he has everything like the superstar. Now
Mm,
he has to put the work, and he's not playing because the coach has a personal issue with him, or the other guy is playing because he has a better conditions than him. He is in the same conditions as everyone else.
mm,
Okay? And they are always humble. In Real Madrid, you cannot have a tattoo.
mm,
You cannot have a different haircut or a weird haircut. And we were talking about players who are famous, who play with the national team, who have sponsors like Adidas, like big companies, who have money
mm,
and they can just quit football, open a business, and live a good life, you know. So the most important things, sorry, is being humble, trying to learn as much as you can, and always believe that you still didn't reach your destination yet.
mm,
Like Real Madrid players first team, there's this famous thing that they say they win. Some players won the fifth Champions League, and where they were when they were under the shower, they were thinking about the sixth. So this hunger that you need to have is really important.
mm. There's like you compared before like Real Madrid and also Barcelona. If you look at the outcome of Barcelona, how many players they are producing and they coming to the first team, and if you compare to the Real Madrid, why is it like the big difference? Because like I have the feeling in Real Madrid, it's like almost impossible. In Barca, they train it that they can be in the first team.
Yes, this came from the base of the two clubs, the different approaches. Yes, Barca brings more players to the first team, but Real Madrid brings more players to the biggest five leagues in Europe,
Mm,
and they bring more money, and the players that Real Madrid sells to other clubs are valued more than Barca players who go to other clubs. If we think about Real Madrid Academy, we think about expensive players like Morata, like I can't remember the names, so many players. But then tell me a player who was famous who came from Barca Academy, but then he didn't play for the first team. Zero.
mm,
A Barca player who is thriving in another club. Real Madrid tries to bring superstars, brands, personal brands to the big brand, which is Real Madrid. Barca tries to find profiles that fit their style, and these
mm,
profiles are difficult to find elsewhere. So they train them so they can function inside the team. Real Madrid doesn't have a unified style.
mm,
They are looking for superstars, brands, names. They can play football, they are good, but they are brands.
mm,
So I think this is the difference. And also, I think that Barca invests more in their academy than Real Madrid.
mm,
Madrid, on the other side, invests more in the first team than Barca.
mm,
I'm not saying that this one is right, this one is wrong. What I'm saying is both of them are working. And Barca made a mistake in, I guess, after they sold Neymar, they tried to match what Real Madrid does, which is investing in players. So they brought Coutinho, and you know what happened. They brought Griezmann, and you know what happened. And they tried to do what Real Madrid does, but it's not their thing.
mm,
You have to follow what you know the best. If Real Madrid tries to do what Barca does, I don't know if they would succeed or not. I don't think so.
mm,
Everyone follow his path, he follows his path and succeeds the way he can do it.
mm. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, and as you talking about Barca and Real Madrid, I had this opportunity to have this one talk with the doctor of Real Madrid, and he was saying in his experience, when he watched players growing from the academy to pro, one crucial thing was self-belief. That like the players they made to pro, self-belief was like the foundation. How is your approach on self-belief having as a young player?
100%. Not just in football, it's in life in general. When you have an exam, when you wanna marry someone, when you wanna, I don't know, achieve something. Like the first step is to believe, you know. Otherwise, as I said before, your body doesn't function the way it has to function towards that goal, you know. So you are creating, your mind creates obstacles to yourself that are not real. They're just mind obstacles, you know. So by believing in yourself, you are free to go towards your goal. Simply, I guess.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's well said. What is for you like the future vision? Where do you see yourself in the future? Do you want to go more into the coaching, and how do you see the development in this direction?
Well, I guess my my place is on the pitch, to be honest. I want to be a coach. I am a coach. Um, I like to do analysis, video analysis, data analysis, uh, not even with tools, just watching games or training sessions and analyzing in general. I think this is something that one of my strengths, let's say. But yeah, 100% coaching. Yeah.
Okay, nice. And like to wrap this up, like I want to tell like that your experience in this field and your knowledge that you shared like is very valuable, not only for players but also for coaches and for people who love the sports. And thank you, Anas.